In this module, we'll discuss postpartum anxiety. Stressors, stress, worrying, and anxiety, what's the difference? Let's start by clarifying some key points. Stressors, stress, worry, and anxiety are 4 different aspects of almost the same thing. Stressors are the external forces and factors that affect us. These are pressures of work, relationships, and caring for others. Stress is the internal bodily effect of these pressures. In the short term, stress can increase your adrenaline level, which can cause your heart to beat harder and faster and your breathing to quicken. This is a built-in safety mechanism within our body so that if we're in danger, we have sufficient blood pumping to allow us to run to safety or fend off danger. This is called the flight, fight, or freeze response. It has been essential for mankind's survival. However, most of us live lives in which we are rarely in physical danger, yet our bodies still respond with the same mechanism. We see the credit card statement in the mail, miss the bus for work, or learn about a deadline being moved up, and our hearts start pounding or our tension increases. Our lives aren't threatened in these examples, but the body responds to perceived threats just the same. People feel stress in different ways. Some people feel a tightness in their chest, others experience palpitations or low back pain. Similarly, stress often causes GI distress. Even so, stress can be a good thing. When we feel stress, it's our body's way of telling us there is something we need to pay attention to. This is important information. So when you notice your body is feeling a certain way, allow yourself to notice it and get curious. What is this trying to tell me? Worry is the cognitive part of this equation. It's the recurrent thinking about problems or concerns. It's considered excessive worry when there's no specific threat or the worry is disproportionate to the actual risk. When we worry, we believe that it'll help us be prepared for something to come. But sometimes people get stuck in a worry. They ruminate and can begin to obsess. Often we worry to distract ourselves from the feelings we would experience if we were in the moment. Perhaps it's hard to be vulnerable and open to an emotion. It's easier to be in your head than in your heart. Anxiety is that uneasy and nervous feeling caused by worries. Anxiety can be helpful if it motivates you to act or create a necessary plan. However, when someone develops an anxiety disorder, they are more likely to be avoidant or paralyzed. Generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, is defined as having excessive worry and anxiety for at least 6 months. To make the criteria for the official diagnosis of GAD, an adult must have at least 3 of the following symptoms: edginess or restlessness, fatigue, impaired concentration, irritability, increased muscle aches, or difficulty sleeping. About 6% of pregnant women and 10% of postpartum women develop anxiety. The PPA cycle. This cycle starts out just like the PPD cycle, with life changes and sleep deprivation bringing about stress and exhaustion. A woman feels overwhelmed and sometimes has feelings of failure, but instead of turning the anger inward like in PPD, it becomes a fear of inadequacy or insufficiency. To compensate, a mom becomes hypervigilant. Her baby radar goes on the scale of 1 to 10 to 11. To feel like she has a handle on things, she tries even more to maintain control. Control in motherhood is impossible, and so she becomes more and more anxious. There's a strong genetic component to anxiety. Anxiety serves a purpose. Evolutionarily, anxiety has aided man's survival. Having someone who anticipated every possible threat likely helped the group be more prepared and more risk-averse. But in modern times, anxiety can do more harm than help. A trait that can produce stress, particularly in motherhood, is perfectionism. I think Yvonne's story demonstrates this pattern well. Yvonne was used to doing everything well. As an attractive, energetic, and highly capable person, most things came easily to her. She was proud of her physical appearance and that her home was always looking put together. She had particular ways of doing things and rarely, if ever, asked for help. That was all challenged after she had her son. Yvonne believed that as the mother, she should be the one to comfort and care for her baby. She had done lots of reading on parenting and had firm ideas about how things should be done. She wasn't particularly comfortable with her husband's approach, and so she took over almost all the care. He felt sidelined, and like nothing he did was up to Yvonne's standards. When her son was 3 months old, he got RSV, a common virus that caused him to have a cough, fever, and wheezing. Although his symptoms were mild and he was never in distress, being so young, his illness was stressful to his parents. This put Yvonne on edge, and she found herself not letting him out of her sight. She worried he might stop breathing. She awoke frequently throughout the night to check on him. This habit lasted far longer than her son's illness. The more exhausted and overwhelmed she became, the more she thought she needed to do. She doubled down on her attempts to meet all of her baby's needs. She admitted feeling guilty taking attention from her son to even brush her teeth. She came to me absolutely depleted when her baby was 5 months old. She was at a total loss. I should be able to do it all and feel fine, she said. Good moms don't feel like this. I didn't need to be a therapist to understand that her expectations of herself were unrealistic. I confronted her belief that not meeting every single need of her son meant she was a failure. Yvonne needed to let go of control and let her husband help. Allowing and encouraging her husband's parenting role provided her time to honor more of her own needs. In doing so, she was able to implement basic self-care back into her life. We created a plan for reducing how often she checked on her son at night. Yvonne began to relax into motherhood more. She began leaving the house to get a coffee, even if she wasn't dressed her best and her son didn't like the car. She gained greater confidence in her husband's parenting style and practiced not telling him how to do things he already knew. She began allowing herself to take a nap. These small changes produced a big difference in how she felt. It also improved her relationship with her husband. Overcoming postpartum anxiety is not magic. Sometimes we just need permission to matter. For Yvonne, it was important to redefine what it meant to be a good mother and to let go of her need to be the perfect mother.